Hello, everybody. Welcome back, and really delighted in the engagement that I'm getting from this video. It's been fantastic. So we are definitely a growing group of like-minded, fabulous older women who are coming together to support each other through some difficult times. What I'd like to do today is to reflect a little bit about one or two things around time, in fact, in short and longer terms, and I hope it will help you. That's certainly my intention, because time is, at the moment, it feels like the enemy. We all want this to be over and to end, and there is a huge danger, isn't there, in the process of feeling like that we start to wish our lives away. And I don't know about you, but I don't like the idea of wishing my life away. It's going fast enough as it is. So whilst it's absolutely commendable, and a lot of you are saying, this is how I'm structuring my day, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm cleaning cupboards and I'm gardening a lot and so on. Fantastic, why not? But I would like you every now and again to stop and take a deep breath and just look around you. I had something the other day from Helen, and she said, today I opened the window and heard a woodpecker. That's the sort of thing that I'm talking about, so that you give yourself permission every now and again just to relish something that you enjoy, or makes you think about something different. I'm sure, like you've got grandchildren that you're missing like mad. So with my 10-year-old granddaughter Freya, she sent me an email, and we don't communicate by email much because basically I see her a lot. And I just thought, I wrote back and I said, Freya, while you can't go to school, would you like to write me an email at the end of every day telling me what you've been up to? And maybe you can send me the odd picture or thing that you've been doing. And she's taken it extremely seriously. And every day in my inbox about 5 o'clock, I get a record of what she's been up to with the girls, as she calls her sisters, who are 3. And she's got a special needs sister who's 8, who's really more or less like a 3-year-old. So she's sort of with 2 3-year-olds really. And it was brilliant, the first email I got, and she gave me her timetable, and she'd included trampolining as part of her school day. And I wrote back and said, I'm so glad you included trampolining, because it's going to be very important for you to have time. She loves trampolining, to have those times when you're really enjoying yourselves with the girls. So as I said, just every now and again, maybe you do your own trampolining, whatever that is, something that really gives you pleasure and allows you to breathe and just slow down a little bit. The other thing that I just want to talk about is Tricia's Super Troopers. We've got this closed group on Facebook. You just ask to join it, and we will immediately allow that. We're up to about 300, and what's happening on there is that people are talking to each other. They're sharing their ideas with each other, which is lovely, and I think it's just going to be such a really brilliantly supportive community. So do join that if you feel that you'd like to. Yesterday we talked about hair. Now I'm going to come back to this. There's obviously a lot more requests from you, and somebody said, I feel bad thinking about my hair when everything else is happening. It seems so trivial. But do you know what? We can't deal with what's going out there, can we? I talked about this on Monday. That's the macro stuff. We have to deal with the micro stuff, which is the day-to-day. And actually, if your hair is a mess and it's bothering you, then it will make you feel unhappy and uncomfortable. It certainly will me. Anyway, my scissors have come. Here they are. I've had a little snip around the edges. I've discovered something that I hadn't thought of. Very stupidly hadn't thought of, and that is that when I look in the mirror, it's the opposite. It's not exactly the same as looking at it in reality. So I couldn't see which way to move my scissors to cut the piece of hair that I was pulling up. That's going to be a challenge, but I'm still asking for help from a hairdresser. I've got somebody in mind and I'm going to contact them. I will also write a blog about this because I think this is quite a big subject, and I'll put it together in a Sunday blog. So I'll let you know when I've done that. Maybe not this Sunday, but the week after. And another thing that I meant to mention to you is that before the lockdown really started, I decided that I would buy a wig online. It hasn't come yet. They told me it's on its way. My idea with that is, I thought it would be a bit of fun anyway, is that I'm going to have this. I hope it's a nice wig. I don't know. I'll show you when it comes. I'll put it on and I'll show you. And I thought on those days when my hair is really looking horrible, maybe if I just pull on a wig, it might perk me up a little bit. I don't know. Some of you may have had to wear wigs because of chemo or alopecia or something, and I can imagine your response to this will be a bit, right. But it's just for me to maybe feel a bit better. And maybe for you too. I mean, if it's nice, I don't know, might be a choice that you would want to make. What I really want to talk to you about today is something that I used to consider. I was 30 years a management training consultant, and I reckon that my job was to help people to understand something better in their world. And this is what this is for, to help you to understand better in the world that we're currently living in. And it's something called the change curve, dealing with change. And it's just a way of understanding the stages. I'm sure you've all heard of the stages of grief after somebody dies. And this is a similar idea that human beings, when they're confronted by change, and let's face it, the whole world at the moment is being faced with enormous change, we're likely to go through different feelings and stages with it. And I'm going to make reference to that year after my little granddaughter India was born, and she was in hospital for most of that year because she was sick, because I definitely anyway, went through these stages. So the first stage is shock. And the shock is that you actually realise that change is coming. And that would have been happening, I suppose, really about February time, wasn't it? When we realised that this thing had come to Italy. We'd got a few in this country. The big problem was in China, but it was like creeping closer to us. But we carried on as normal. I certainly did. I didn't really think about it. So I correlate that to India being born, the birth, and the shock that she wasn't very well, that there was a problem. The second stage is denial. Now, denial, I think there's a lot of people still in denial. A lot of people saying, oh, for goodness sake, it's just flu. We get over flu. People get over flu all the time. And this sort of denial means that they can still go out. Before they shut the pubs last week, people were in the pubs. They were still saying, well, I'm young. This isn't, why do I have to bother about this? And maybe you've been in a bit of denial as well, but it's understandable. Why wouldn't you? I correlate that with India, a time when I started to say to Susie, look, don't worry about this. It can't be serious. She's fine. Yes, she's not breathing very well, and they found a hole in the heart, but she'll get over it. She'll be fine. The third stage is anger and blame. Now, some of you might be quite cross, especially if you've been in isolation yourself, and you've also gone through to that thing of taking it very, very serious. Be really, really cross with those people who are still being very blithe and going, I can still get on with my life. And there is unquestionably still that attitude prevailing. But you might be very, very angry with those people that are doing that. And again, it's very normal. I can remember the phase that I went through with India, which was being very cross with certain doctors, which sounds terrible and also counterintuitive. They were doing everything they could to help her. But things would happen, and I think they're not telling us. Why aren't they telling us? For goodness sake, one doctor said that yesterday, now this doctor's saying this today, and I got so angry. And I just felt like they weren't doing enough and you might be quite angry with the government for not doing this sooner and what. Can you imagine the confusion that those people are feeling? They've also been in shock and denial. The next stage is called bargaining and self-blame. And I wonder if some of you are bargaining at the moment through making lists and getting on with cleaning out cupboards, and you're almost bargaining with it. If I do this, I'll get through it better. You're trying to accommodate it in your life in some way. And I think the India situation, what I then did was I went into overdrive to help. I was going to help everybody all the time. I was going to help Susie, I was going to help Ben, I was going to help Freya, I was going to help India. And it was like a manic phase of sort of anything and everything that I could throw at this to make it A, go away, but B, just be better for other people. Stage 5 is a difficult stage. We're on a downward curve with this. So shock, denial, anger and blame, bargaining and self-blame, and we're right down at the bottom now. And this may hit you, it may not, but if it does hit you, just acknowledge that it's okay, because it is okay, and that's depression and confusion. So after all this activity where you've cleaned every cupboard and you've wiped every surface and you've cleaned your windows and everything, you might fall into a little bit of what's the point? This is going on and on and on. It's not going away. How can I cope with this? And just allow yourself that moment to do that, and then go back to your treat box or your journal or whatever it is that you feel could make you happier. Watch a box set of something that will take your mind off it. Somebody suggested humorous box sets, watching comedy. Can I recommend something here? It's The Trip with Steve Coogan and what's the other guy called? Oh, Rob Brydon. My daughter recommended it to me and I watched one the other night, and it's gentle humour, but it's really brilliant. So find that if you can. Then we start to curve up. So curving up is acceptance. And I think there will come a time when we just say, okay, this is how it is. With the India situation, I felt a lot of sadness for a while. I was very, very, very sad because we knew that she wasn't going to get properly better ever. The acceptance stage was about 6 months in when she'd gone through a lot, and we just said, okay, we've got to get on with this now. This is for the rest of our lives. This, of course, current situation isn't for the rest of our lives, but we've still just got to get on with it until such time as we don't have to get on with it. And the 7th stage is where you start to work it out in a positive way, but your mood is lifted now. And it's, get on with it until we have to. So the acceptance and problem solving stages 6 and 7 are when you are resolved, basically. And it's a lot more comfortable then, because you know that, life has changed in the way that it has changed, but you have made your peace with it. I do hope that was helpful to you. My intention was to just say that whatever you're feeling and whatever you're experiencing is normal. And if you do feel at some point quite a lot of despair almost, that this isn't getting over with as quickly as you'd like, that again is okay. And also, and I want to end on the positive note, there's a real possibility that you can come out of it and things will be different in a good way. And that's what I'm clinging on to. I just want to end on something a little bit lighter, if you found that a bit heavy. I'm wearing a new lippy today, a treat. I decided to give myself a treat. I haven't used this, I haven't tried this before. It's a new one of ours. It's called Tulip Pink, and it's really pretty. And I think it's a lovely sort of, it's reflecting the weather outside. It's spring and it's warm today, and I'm really happy in my lovely tulip pink lipstick. So that's our tea time together for today. Thank you so much for being part of this. I'm loving it. And I will absolutely look forward to seeing you here in the Ritz in Piccadilly tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.